Welcome to the post-race press conference from round number 5, Indianapolis. Great night of racing. 250 class, 450 class were both really exciting. Colton Nichols, congratulations on your win. Christian Craig, Michael Mosman on the podium. And Ken Roxon, back-to-back victories. Congratulations. Justin Barsha, Eli Tomac, good rides on the podium. Kenny, I'll start with you. You mentioned on the podium, back-to-back. It's been a while since you've had that. Just kind of take me through where you're at right now. It's, again, you can feel the confidence. Everything's working out. It is a long season. There's still a lot of variables coming, but at this moment, everything is working out very, very well for you. What's it feel like to get back-to-backs?
Oh, it's amazing. I don't know if surprised is the right word to say it, but I am a little bit, just because, the competition is stiff out there. I have confidence in my equipment and capabilities, but having said that, to win it's just really hard to do. Everybody's going so good right now. I mean, and I just focused really hard on the start and got that as well. And in a combination with just riding really well and really picked the track apart, had some good lines. I don't know, I had fun out there and I'm still over the moon about it. But at the same time, I've learned from the past and just keeping it super mellow. And, when I show up on Saturday, I'm going to try to do the same thing again, but I don't let this high get too high on me. But of course, I am over the moon, especially for me and my family and my team. And yeah, it was a great night. It was a really fun race just because I was able to really write my own race once I had a little bit of a gap. And sometimes that makes the race feel long, but I didn't really have any issues. I had a couple of really, I shouldn't say close calls, but obviously I punted Freeze out of the way. I don't know. I seem to find that guy every single weekend on the track and, almost went down there with him. But then, there were a couple of sketchy moments in there just with other riders being on the wrong side of the track and cutting over and whatnot, but we made it happen.
A quick follow-up question for you. In years past, I watched the bikes closely. I like to see how they're working. Your Hondas have always looked really good. Your bike this year looks really good. What is the big difference for you, though? It seems to fit you a little bit better. Is there something about the bike and the geometry or the chassis, the engine, that's just better for you? Because, again, I thought your bike looked good last year, but this one looks a little bit better for you. Is there something that stands out?
Yeah, for sure. The geometry obviously is different compared to last year's bike. Last year's bike was a really difficult bike to set up, and it bit you in the ass real quick. And this bike is a lot more consistent. The weight distribution on the bike is working a lot better. And, combined with some of the other changes that they did, it's just a lot more consistent in different types of dirt. And I just seem to ride it much better, and I'm a lot more comfortable on it. And the motor is quite a bit different. It has a lot of torque and kind of like that mellow yet bump off the bottom that I really like. So we made huge improvements there. And in general, though, it's definitely a combination of the bike and me. But even last year, a bunch of times I can make the bike look good, but sometimes the bike was also riding me. And I feel like this year we have that a bit more under control.
Awesome. Congratulations. And Colt Nichols, to you, 3 in a row. Coming into the season, you hadn't had that kind of success. You obviously wanted it, but now that you've got 3 in a row and the ball's rolling, what's it feel like? You've never been at this point in your career where it's going this well. What's it feel like?
Yeah, definitely different than normal, but it feels great, really. That's what you want. I've been doing this for a while now, and I've had my fair share of setbacks, so it feels good, man. I don't want to say it's overdue, but it feels good, to be in this position. I've wanted to do it so long before, and now that I've had a healthy off season and been in an experienced kind of championship thing before, that's obviously helped. And it's awesome. Can't really ask for much more. 3 in a row, and going into Saturday, I feel great on the bike, and fitness feels really good, and the bike feels awesome too, and the team seems to be really gelling together really well, so that makes a big difference as well. But no, I'm pumped, man. I want to keep it moving, and going to Saturday hungry.
Congratulations. Let's open it up. Michael Antonovich, Swap Moto Live. We'll start with you.
Thanks, Daniel. First question is for Ken. After these 2 wins, and especially your riding style lately on the bike, it seems like everybody's kind of starting to make those comparisons of late 2016, early 2017, Ken. The bike looks amazing. Watching you, energy everything the best you've ever felt in your life, obviously, but do you even feel better than you did back then before all the issues that had happened?
Oh, I honestly didn't hear a lot of the questions just because you were cutting out, but it's really difficult to compare. Even though I was great in 16 and 17, I'm mentally in a completely different spot. So back then, I feel like I wrote the highs a lot more than I do now. And but I think in general, I'm just quite a bit older, and a lot has happened in between there and then. So it's really hard for me to compare that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I feel like back then the field, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was really stacked, but also there weren't as many as there are now. So I don't know. I'm more comfortable than even back then. I don't know how to explain it. I'm just more mature mentally. So when it comes to the racing side of things, and my program is way different. So I don't know. I mean, that's probably more so a question from the outside, like what they think and what they see back then compared to now. But for me, I'm just really comfortable and open-minded, and I'm listening to everything, and also the critique, because I'm picking everything apart when I watch the race. And I would just say completely different time frames is basically it.
Cool. Second question is for Michael Mosman. Michael, you've led laps now, which has been the big thing. We've been wondering when you're going to win your first main event. So you're closer. How was it to control that much of the race and be pulling away with it until that issue with traffic?
It feels great. It feels really good. Just, man, everything was clicking and felt really good in the whoops, and my corners were really nice, and it was kind of crazy. I kind of expected them to, be right there, and started to see them, you do the 180s, you're like, dang, they're like on the wall still, or, they're still coming after the finish, and you're hitting the triple, and it's like, dang, like I got some time going here, and definitely had no intentions of slowing down. And man, everything was kind of coming together, and I was feeling really good. My bike is super fast, and my suspension handles really well, and I always felt comfortable, no mistakes. I think I had maybe a little small mistake the first lap, but yeah, like it just felt good. Felt like I was like, man, I could do this stuff.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Jason Wygant, Racer X.
Yeah, thanks. First question is for Colt. We always love these kind of rags to riches stories, and I don't think we've told yours enough. I remember you as a Team Green guy as an amateur, and you didn't even get a Supercross drive when you came out. It's been such a long journey. I don't know if we know all the steps. So can you explain how you got here, and did you think you would get to this point where you were winning multiple races and maybe a title?
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want to hope for, but to say that I expected to be here, I don't know. I guess that's what kept me going in those times when I didn't know if I was going to race or not. But yeah, it was after, the Team Green years. I did arena cross. I got that set up through, I don't even remember who helped me. I guess Ryan Holiday at the time, the Team Green guy, did that. And then that summer I did Costa Rica just because I had no other real option to go race. And that was the only thing I could do to get paid a little bit of money. And then, right after that, I did Cross on Honda just because Guy Cooper was the team manager, and, there to Rock River, then Rock River to here. So, yeah, I mean, during those times, like 2014 era, 13, 14, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I could have very easily went the other way and, went to school or done whatever, but it was always for these kind of moments right here is why I kind of kept going. And Robbie was a big factor in all that. He really pushed me to keep doing stuff and, told me I could do it one of these days. And so I just kind of leaned on him a little bit in those times. So that was huge for me. And, yeah, I mean, it's riveting, to be at this point. There's still a lot more to go and a lot more I want to accomplish. But just to be at the point I am now, I'm definitely soaking it all in and enjoying it day by day. And just kind of thankful, really, just compared to where I was at one point it's a huge step for sure.
What do you think one of the differences is? There's certain things you learned along the way that led to this level of improvement?
I think so. I mean, just maturity, understanding things a little more, understanding myself, what I need. That's probably been the biggest difference just year to year. For this year, we did a lot of things different, even, with my trainer, Garrett Swanepoel, that we had never done. I've trained with him for 5 years, so we did quite a few things differently. So that was definitely a big step. And then just being with the team longer too, and, you know, getting through an off season healthy and actually doing some practice laps. I mean, 3 of the 5 years I've raced for this team, I came into a Supercross season with about 4 weeks on the bike. So that just makes it tough, you know, and then you're kind of playing catch up and you try to move too quick and then another injury would happen and I'm back to square one. So that was, you know, tough times, but everyone has their own little sack of rocks to carry, and mine just happened to be that the past few years. So it feels good though to be in this position I'm in, and I'm soaking it all in. That's for sure.
And just to follow that, I mean, is this like, could you inspire other people? Have you ever talked to other riders and been like, hey man, this is where I was and this is where I'm headed now, to give them advice to not give up? Because if someone else is in your position, maybe they don't go for it, but you're kind of proof that it could happen.
I mean, I hope so. That's what I hope, you know, that I can be some inspiration to somebody. You know, I mean, there's been multiple people that have kind of come up to me and, you know, kind of told me the same kind of thing, like they didn't know what they were doing. And I'm like, hey, dude, I've been there. You know, I remember buying air filters and chain loop and doing all the stuff, you know, like I was there. So, like, it sucked at the time for sure, but it was always for the bigger picture of what I thought I could do. And, you know, that's, you know, just winning races. So, yeah, I mean, I really hope. I hope I can inspire some kids. That's the idea for sure.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, of course.
Steve Giverson, Vital Mix.
This one's for Eli. One of the more interesting things watching late in that main event, you and Justin going at it for quite a long time. Like the corner, watching there. The feedback's killing me here, but watching that corner, man, there was a lot of chance for contact, and you guys kept it really clean out there.
Yeah, I felt like the two good passing places were probably after the finish line and then after that triple. And I just was never close enough to feel like I could have made like a real pass without causing, you know, basically, you know, big contact or a mess, right? So I passed my teammate there early in the race, but I could never get the run, like the right angle and the right run in that area. So that was it. You know, there's a lot of times where we got next to each other, but, you know, I'd be stuck on the outside and could never finish anything. So it was, yeah, back and forth and close attempts, but never could get it done.
For all the 450 guys, you know, you occasionally see alliances. You know, some of the guys will have a 250 guy that they lean on for info. You know, I see that with Colt and Justin Bogle. Are there any guys out there for any of the 450 guys? Are there guys that you lean on, or are you just watching as much as you can on the big screen, or to try and get tips on the track before you guys head out?
Eli, you can go ahead.
Oh, I mean, I'm always watching. You know, all of us are watching the whole time, and you try to pick up on things, but it's hard to say. You know, it's tough. You'll catch something. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
But is there anybody in the 250 class that you can kind of lean on to try and get info from?
And I personally don't really know many of the guys out there right now, so no.
Gotcha.
Justin.
Yeah, you know, it's hard for sure. Just like Eli said, it's like you gotta, you know, watch as much as you can, but also focus on yourself, and you know you've done all you could do throughout the day while watching video and stuff like that. For me, like, I'd love to lean on like Michael, for instance, but like he's out there on the track, and then he obviously goes to the podium, so it's not like I can be like, hey Mike, how was the track? You know, so that's pretty much just yeah, it just doesn't work really. So, and I haven't had a 250 teammate in a long time, so this is kind of new for me. But yeah, it's hard. The track honestly changes so much from the 250s to the 450s. Like it's insane. I remember being on 250s and loving the track, and it's so like smooth and has a few good lines and a few bumps. And then the 450 main now is like a full blown outdoor breaking bumps, and the track's been gnarly. So yeah, no one to really lean on too much. Just have to go from experience and make sure you check out the track good on the sight lap and see what's going on.
Kenny.
I'm right there with him. It's really hard to compare. Technically, I would have Jet to lean on, but at the same time, I don't even worry about it, because first off, we get a parade lap, and they luckily are fixing up the entire track for our main event, which is good, because I mean, by halfway, it gets pretty nasty out there. So with that, I just try not to worry about that stuff too much, and kind of just wait until it's our turn to get on the track and just scope it out on the parade lap.
Thanks, guys.
David Iser, DMXS Radio.
Thanks, Daniel. This one's to you, Justin. You guys have all done an amazing job adapting to the new schedule and this basically condensed schedule. But you're struggling with your bike. You mentioned on the podium, searching for settings. What is this like trying to get this done in the middle of a snowstorm in Indianapolis with only free practice and practice to figure out these settings before you guys line up where it counts?
Yeah, for sure. It's extremely difficult. Obviously, new team and, and they're new to the 450 class. So it's definitely hard. We're definitely, everything's new. Like the dirt here is a lot different than Houston. So we're trying to figure it out, and it's not easy not being able to test. And we didn't have these conditions, in the off season testing and stuff. So it's definitely searching around. We've taken some good stabs at it. I would say we haven't nailed it yet. I would have definitely liked to have a little more in that main event, but that was kind of what I had, and it was a good race, but definitely could have been better. But yeah, we're definitely searching, and no stress though. This bike's it's a really consistent bike. It doesn't do anything too crazy. It's just like I'm looking for a little bit more, and we're definitely going to keep trying, of course. And but it's definitely hard. We're here during the week, but there's not much to do, like for riding or testing or anything like that. It's just kind of like show up for practice and try to take a stab at it. So that's obviously what we're going to do to try to improve a little. But I would say before in the past I was probably like really far away from something, and now this is just a few, like not even 5%. So we're just trying to find that little percentage because the field is so stacked and everyone's going so fast. So we just need that little percentage to be up there to win.
All right, thanks, Justin. This is to the 250 guys. Last night, Oldenburg was able to race in the main event without actually going through properly qualifying. We've heard from the media, from fans. I was wondering from the competitors that were actually in the race if you guys have any input on that, him getting in the race.
No, I mean, I didn't really know, honestly, what happened there. I noticed that it was something about his frame or something, and I didn't really know what was going on. But I don't really know how to explain that. I don't know if that means we just get a mulligan or something if we don't make it in there, or what. I don't know how that works. I guess he was going to be a 23rd rider, like regardless, is the way I got explained to it. So it was definitely a weird situation. And then with Jet pulling out, he was able to actually line up on the gate. So that it was all just kind of weird. But I guess it was AMA's fault as to why he even got to line up in the first place, because they didn't let him do the LCQ. It was just a really weird deal. I still don't honestly understand it, but I mean, it was good for him. Obviously he's a guy that can go in there and get some good, solid results. So it was good to have him in the main, and then unfortunately had bike trouble anyway. So it was definitely a weird deal.
Michael?
I would say I'm generally just confused on it. I don't know the details of the situation. I'm getting details even now. I watched the broadcast, or at least I watched the main, and they talked about it, and I saw him, go down and be walked out and stuff. And honestly, I'm just thankful, he's a friend of mine. I'm thankful he's healthy. And, I'm grateful, for his sake that he was able to race the main. But I'm just like generally completely confused. Like, how does that work? And yeah, hopefully that we can clean some of this stuff up. AMA can for next time.
I'll jump in. I got a question for Christian. Christian, you mentioned on the podium how much you miss your kids. I know everybody's situation's different with their home life. Is that pretty hard for you to be gone for a week? I understand, like, we got to do what we got to do, and there's benefits to being here, but at the same time, does that weigh on you for real?
Yeah, it does. I've never been away from this long. They came with us to Houston, and then just with this situation, it made sense for them to stay home and keep the kid in school. So yeah, I've been trying to talk my wife into going and make a trip to go pick him up for this Saturday and bring him to the race. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. We got 2 kids back at home with grandma, and FaceTime helps a lot, but it's still not the same. So yeah, maybe we'll bring him to Orlando and Disney after or something to make up for it.
I'm with you on that. Alex Gobert.
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, Alex Gobert, motoronline.com. I'll start with Christian. How important is it over the next couple of rounds to, turn the tables on Colt to halt his momentum? Because obviously the East Coast, I think it's 2 more rounds left, and then it heads into the Western Series. So what's your thoughts on that? And what's the approach there?
Yeah, it's crucial, especially these next 2 rounds before we have a 2-month break. He's on a roll. He's got this momentum going. All I can do is just put my best foot forward and get a better start. If I can get in front of him and position myself to where I can control the race, then that's all I got to do. Let the rest unfold. Me and Cole are obviously teammates. We're not going to do anything crazy. We're going to be fighting this to the end. It's pretty much down to us 2, kind of. There's an outside chance with a couple other guys, but yeah, 4 more races, so it's going to go by quick, and just gotta get a good start and just put myself in a good position, and then let the rest play out.
All right, thanks. And on to Justin Barsha. We saw you obviously won the opening round, had some trouble since then, but then last night you were able to get the whole shot, get up front and good track position. So was that good for you to be able to, I guess, remeasure where you're at compared to, Kenny and the guys right at the front?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, the last round before this was just a tough race. Overrode, went down and didn't put myself in a good position. The 2 races before that, had really good charges to the pack. So I knew I've known the whole time my speed's been great. Just been struggling a little bit and searching and trying to find that groove again. Last night, I would say, definitely felt a bit off, a little tight, and didn't feel super comfortable. And to pull a second was, kind of, confidence boosting for sure. Definitely feel like I'm on the right track. Starts were better and everything's kind of falling in place again. So yeah, definitely, don't want to be the guy who wins the first race and that's it. So last night, I think, for me, I wasn't in a great spot, like points wise. So it was good I knew I had to do something. And last night was, a good statement, say, I'm here for the long run. So yeah, definitely feel great and definitely know I can win races and battle with, the best guys. It was a difficult race for sure. Kenny, he rode a really good race and didn't have anything for him, but Eli pressured me really hard. And like Eli said, he had those 2 spots, before the triple and after, and I made it hard for him. Obviously I covered those spots. I knew he was there. And like he said, if he would have, sent it in there, it probably would have took us both down or something. So there's a lot of respect in the 450 class right now, and we're definitely going to race each other hard. There's no doubt about it. We all race hard and we want to win, but at the end of the day, we've all matured a lot since we were young kids, and just have some respect for each other, but also want to win. So it'll be a lot more good racing.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Jonathan McCready.
First question for Eli. Eli, you saw Ken get away there. He was stretching out the gap and you got shuffled back in the first turn. How does that affect your mentality? Are you trying to keep calm because you see him go away? Or are you able to just focus on your own deal and put in your laps and try and work your way through it as high as you can get?
Yeah, it's not good when you see that. That's all there is to it. You got to hope for a mistake or something, because I know how these races have been going. So yeah, when you see the guy that's ahead of you in points and run away, it's like, oh man, we got to get going. So did what we could though. I mean, came up okay, right? I think I was like maybe 8th or 9th or somewhere around the finish line the first lap. So I was somewhat happy on the comeback, but obviously the guys that we don't want to finish in front of us. So yeah, that's it.
Just one for Ken. Jet Lawrence had a tough night. or do you have any dealings with him or any advice for him regarding his evening and racing, or are you just focused on yourself because you're looking very comfortable with your own racing?
Well, I try to help out where I can. You know, obviously, you never want to see your teammate go down a couple of times like that. And I told him after I believe it was the heat race, he went down and just obviously in pain. But I told him to man the F up. You know, you can still turn this night around. We've all been there. We've all had rough nights, and you know, he can go out there and really turn it around, even in pain. And we've seen it happen multiple times. And but at the same time, it has to be in a safe manner, right? Like he went out for the last chance qualifier and obviously made it through, and then, you know, ended up, I haven't really heard exactly why, but he ended up deciding not to race. And, you know, it needs to be in a safe manner. And if he gotten a blow to the head, which I'm not 100% sure if he did or not, but I just know his collarbone was hurting or his shoulder was hurting. So I just try to support him in a way that, hey, you know, you can still turn this whole thing around, even though you're down right now. But like I said, we've seen it happen. So I just want to keep his spirits up, because it seemed like he was pretty down and disappointed and obviously in pain. But I try to help where I can, and sometimes you need a little bit of kick in the ass, and that's what I try to be there for him. You know, he's young, and you know, at the same time, he needs to settle down every now and then. And you know, when you're second in qualifying, you don't need to go out there and just absolutely send it into the whoops, and then, you know, things like that happen. It's just unnecessary. So, but at the same time, I've been there. You know, I've ridden hard when you first come into this thing, and you always want more. But in the end, he decided not to race, and I'm proud of him for that. You know, it takes some balls to just pull it out of there, and I think it's good for him. He has a long racing career and a lot of races ahead of him. So I think it'd be better for him to just recover for Saturday and you know, try again and be a little bit calmer, a little bit more focused, and less crashing.
That's great. Thanks very much, guys. Thank you.
Dan Lamb, Moto X Addicts.
Yeah, I'll start with Kenny. Kenny, you were fast all day. Main event, though, you were up there level fast. I think you had 5 or 6 laps faster than anyone else's fastest lap. Was there anything you changed going to the main event, or something you found? You looked really, really comfortable.
No, not at all. I actually left everything the same, and ultimately it just comes down to having confidence in my racing. You know, I've never really been much of a practice kind of guy, so I don't really care too much about that stuff as long as I'm in a halfway decent spot. But just learning the track, and I knew it was going to get nasty out there again, but just try and stay relaxed. And I basically always just kind of wait for the night show to come around, and that's, I feel like, when the real fun starts.
I'll stick with you. 2 races ago, you had Cooper get you on the end there. It's something you've dealt with a few times, but you've now responded with 2 wins in a row. How important was it after that tough defeat to respond like you have?
I mean, it's important, you know, winning is always important. Obviously, I feel like I could have had quite a bit more points under my belt, but that just wasn't in the cards. And I know that Cooper was on me in Houston 3, but I don't think he got me because he was the faster rider. I suddenly got screwed over. So I wouldn't, you know, that it wasn't something where I'm like, oh, he got me in the end because he just like rode really well and hunted me down or anything like that. So I didn't really think of it that way at all. But I was just looking forward for the next race, and it showed, and just ultimately getting some good starts and just keeping a cool head. I'm just in a good spot right now, and I'm going to continue doing the same thing. And I'm sure there will be days that are going to be a little bit more tough, but I'm just trying to enjoy to get there. And overall, though, you know, back-to-back wins, I haven't done that in a while. And never mind winning in general. I mean, I only had 4 wins last season, and that was the only 4 after over 1,000 days. So it's not like I've won a lot since then, and I'm just enjoying every single step.
Yeah, and one for the 250 riders. How tough is it out there right now with only 4 factory riders? You have, I think it was four riders on the lead lap. You guys lapped 14th back twice, and then a few times 3 and more times. How tough is it out there right now with only 4 riders on the level you guys are on? And I guess start with Colt.
Yeah, it's wild, honestly. I mean, I think we hit lappers like lap 5 or 6 into the main, you know, so you're coming up on guys really fast, and then they don't, I guess maybe not expect that, I guess. And yeah, you just never really expect a lap up to, like fifth or so. But I mean, there's a lot of dudes out, and a lot of kids are in the main that maybe normally wouldn't be there, and that's really cool for them. They're just kind of doing what they need to do at the moment. But it makes it tough because like even Joe crashed on the start and was able to come back to fourth. So it makes the point spread obviously a little tougher. But at the same time, you got to deal with the obstacles, and that just happens to be one of them. That there's a lot of lappers, and it's unfortunate. Sometimes it can get in the way. Obviously, like it did with Michael. That obviously kind of messed his groove and race up a little bit. So it definitely keeps you on your toes, to say the least. So yeah, it's definitely something to look out for the next few races.
Yeah. Christian, how's it for you? It's going to be tough to make up points as well, but how tough is it racing with guys that are 2 and 3 laps down?
Yeah, the lappers kind of make or break your race. It caused, obviously it didn't help me in one of the mains, and then it almost took out Michael last night. So you got to be really aware of it. And I didn't know we actually lapped up to fifth till after the race, or later on that night when they told us we almost, I think Colt almost got Joe for fourth, which is just nuts.
Yeah. But
yeah, it's down to, it's just dwindling. It sucks. All these riders are getting hurt. And if you looked at the first round, how stacked it was, it's unfortunate, but you got to stay safe and just keep hammering and do what you can. We can't control it. All you got to do is control yourself and just, put yourself in a good position.
Yeah. And Michael, do you think about it a lot during the race that you're going to be lapping a bunch of guys?
Absolutely. I think lappers and getting around was maybe been one of my weak points. And I think everyone, even our gaps between each other, they can yo-yo. I remember last round, just this past Saturday, it was all of a sudden Christian had a big lead on me. And then, 3 laps later, I was like, man, he's right there. And, I hit a huge pack of lappers. So it just depends, how you get by them. And, my team, has told me, oh, you like to pass lappers on the outside. That is not smart. Pass them on the inside. And, dude, through the whoops, gosh, it's terrifying. It's it's so tough to commit because you can commit and blow your race if a guy goes right or left. And they're going right or left 50% of their time through the whoops. Flip a coin, they're going to go, one way or the other. And because they're challenging whoops, we go right or left, probably, once every few laps. And so, anyways, it's really, really tricky, and it's become a thing. Definitely, I agree with Christian. It's a huge bummer to see so many guys go down, and I think it just speaks to how difficult the sport is and how difficult of a level we're riding at, that people are at a point where they we're at the limit. And so you make a small mistake and it's a big deal.
All right, thanks guys.
Guys, we got time for one more question. Jason Wygant, Racer X.
Oh, thanks. This is for Christian. Kind of like Kenny, I feel like you came into the year saying mentally you were staying ahead of things and not getting too high, too low. And we saw how great it was at the first round. And there's been some controversy and stuff the last couple. So is that being put to the test? And how have you been able to manage these last couple of races?
Yeah. Not every race is going to be like Houston 1 where it all just went perfect. I wish it was, but yeah, obviously the whole jet situation was crazy and got a lot of heat from that, but all I could do is move on and look forward to the next race. So yeah, I'm learning a lot still as we go on. And, I've never been in this situation, but I feel like this is where I belong, and I belong up front every race. So, yeah, it's crazy though. It's so many highs and lows in the sport. So one day you're getting hated on from everyone on social media or anything, and the next you're getting praise. So part of it, you just got to take what it's worth and move on.
All right, thanks guys. Congratulations again on your podium, and have a fun couple days. We'll see you Saturday. Thanks.